Chapter 19. Simple Present Tense. Simple present tense is used to describe an action that is regular, true or normal. We use simple present tense for repeated or regular actions in the present time. For example, number 1. I take the train to the office. 2. The train to Berlin leaves every hour. 3. John sleeps 8 hours every night during the week. 4 facts. For example, number 1. The President of the USA lives in the White House. 2. A dog has 4 legs. 3. We come from Switzerland. 4 habits. For example, number 1. I get up early every day. 2. Carol brushes her teeth twice a day. 3. They travel to their country house every weekend. 4 things that are always or generally true. For example, number 1. It rains a lot in winter. 2. The Queen of England lives at Buckingham Palace. 3. They speak English at work. Negative sentences in the simple present tense. To make a negative sentence, we normally use don't or doesn't with all verbs except to be and modal verbs can, might, should, etc. Affirmative. You speak French. Negative. You don't speak French. You will see that we add don't between the subject and the verb. We use don't when the subject is I, you, we, they or plural. Affirmative. He speaks German. Negative. He doesn't speak German. When the subject is he, she, it or singular, we add doesn't between the subject and the verb to make a negative sentence. Note that the letter S at the end of the verb is the affirmative sentence because it is in third person. Disappears in the negative sentence. Negative contractions. Don't, do not, doesn't, does not. I don't like meat. I do not like meat. There is no difference in meaning, though we normally use contractions in spoken English. Word order of negative sentences. The following is the word order to construct a basic negative sentence in the simple present tense using don't or doesn't. Subject. Don't, doesn't. Verb. The rest of the sentence. I, you, we, they. Plural. He, she, it. Singular. Don't, doesn't. Have, buy. Eat, like, etc. Cereal for breakfast. Verb. The verb that goes here is the base form of the infinitive. The infinitive without to before the verb. Instead of the infinitive, to have, it is just the have part. Remember, the infinitive is the verb before it is conjugated, changed, and it begins with to. For example, to have, to eat, to go, to live, to speak, etc. Examples of negative sentences with don't and doesn't. Number 1. You don't speak Arabic. 2. John doesn't speak Italian. 3. We don't have time for a rest. 4. It doesn't move. 5. They don't want to go to the party. 6. She doesn't like fish. Questions in the simple present tense. To make a question in English, we normally use do or does at the beginning of these sentences. It is normally put at the beginning of the question. Affirmative. You speak English? Question. Do you speak English? You will see that we add do at the beginning of the affirmative sentence to make it a question. We use do when the subject is I, you, we, they or plural. Affirmative. He speaks French. Question. Does he speak French? When the subject is he, she, it, or singular, we add does at the beginning to make the affirmative sentence a question. Note that the letter S at the end of the verb in the affirmative sentence, because it is in third person, disappears in the question. We don't use do or does in questions that have the verb to be or modal verbs can, must, might, should, etc. Word order of questions with do and does. The following is the word order to construct a basic questions in English using do or does. Do or does. Subject. Verb. The rest of the sentence. Do. Does. I, you, we, they. Plural. He, she, it. Singular. Have. Need. Want, etc. A new bike. Verb. The verb that goes here is the base form of the infinitive. The infinitive without to before the verb. Instead of infinitive, to have it is just the have part. Remember that the infinitive is the verb before it is conjugated, changed, and it begins with to. For example, to have, to eat, to go, to live, to speak, etc. Examples of questions with do and does. Number 1. Do you need a dictionary? 2. Does Mary need a dictionary? 3. Do we have a meeting now? 4. Does it rain a lot in winter? 5. Do they want to go to the party? 6. Does he like pizza?